Okay, I'm underneath the car and I am looking at this K-member area. I'm looking at this area because I'm considering the Volvo swap. I'm looking at that hole there. I'm looking at the 4 bolts there that hold the rear mount. I might have to lose these radius chassis braces or reconfigure them, but the car would still drive without those, so that's not a problem. So if you can imagine the overdrive sticking through that hole, and that's a wooden floor piece there. There's a metal piece there. It might come back as far as there, and then the torque tube will probably be shortened, really short, to about where that radius rod mount is there. So the radius rods will have to be shortened even more. The brake pipes will have to be redone. The handbrake mechanism might need to be changed. I don't think there's anything that is not doable. So what I'm thinking is that the the rear mount can be modified and fitted this side of the K-member, spaced off by the sort of thickness of that flange there, that flange. I've got an idea there. I might be able to make the Ford rear mount fit around the Volvo intermediate section that goes between the gearbox and the overdrive. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. That bolt needs doing up. Look over there. See there where the clip is on the radius rod, on the radius arm. That needs doing up. Good to get under your car and have a look around now and then. Okay, righto. I'm just lying here now, just musing. Okay, back in a bit. This is the intermediate piece that I'm talking about. What I'm hoping is that I can make this go around this area here. It's kind of cylindrical. I might have to lose that brace there. And I think I've got to trim this, because when I did the feasibility study, if this wasn't there, it would gain a little bit going back, and these bolts here need to be converted to like countersunk or counterboard or an Allen bolt or something that's countersunk in, but there is metal there to be able to do that. I've got a rear mount here to kind of play about with. Just trying to get some measurements. This is an old one. Yeah, I'm thinking if I can cut this in half, I can sort of sandwich it around here. That's what I'm thinking anyway. I want to think it through, because doing it on the car is going to be difficult. Unless I take the car apart. Unless I take the body off the car. That might be an idea. You know, when you think about it, there's not that much to it really. It's just a few bolts holding it down. Quite a bit of wiring and stuff up behind the dash though. If I left the firewall in place, it wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I don't know. No, you know, the jury's out on that. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Here's the Swindon's vice, and as you will see, it's got a handy flat area there. Just the job, that is. Look, perfect. I told you they were good things. I thought I was recording then, but I haven't. I've nearly finished this little skim job. I've just been taking 15 thou cuts. This surface is critical because this surface dictates how far back you can have the engine. Okay, job done. I need to get rid of that sharp edge, that sharp corner, because that's a potential stress raiser, so I've got to blend all that in now. I'll go and do that with a die grinder. Okay, righto, back in a bit. Hello. Right, there's that surface that I skimmed, and I've just took the die grinder and kind of radiused all that area there where it had that sharp edge. Well, I've tried to do that anyway. So that's looking good. It's a shame there's that extra piece sticking out on the bottom there. It's a shame there's this extra piece here, but that is like a drain from the overdrive to the gearbox. If that wasn't there, that early Ford mount would actually fit around that diameter there. It's all part of a big jigsaw puzzle. Righto. Back when there's something more to show. Cheers then. Bye. Okay, I'm sort of working on the fly really, but what I did, I've sawn this in half, but what I did, I didn't cut through the last little bit of rubber, so it's kind of holding itself together. But what you can see here is that it almost joins together. If that lump, not that bit, hang on, where is it? If that kind of lump wasn't there, it would join together. But I can't remove the lump, and I don't really want to remove any rubber, because what you can see there is there's only a certain amount of rubber between the flange and the inside. So what I think I'll do is kind of weld this back together, like with a bit of a gap like that. So squeeze it together, compress it, and either weld it together or have some little something so I can join it together. And what I'll do is retain the top mounting bolts, Ford, you can see the Ford thing there, and slot the bottom bolts. Then this will poke through the K-member, and this will mount on the rear of the K-member instead of the front, and it can kind of float to where it needs to be. And if need be, I can reduce that. No, it'll probably be okay actually. Yeah, and it can float to where it needs to be. And what I can do, I can bolt it, I can make some spacer pieces to hold it in the right position. But I think that's going to work, and it'll be the simplest and neatest way of giving me a rear mount. I have to be aware that my handbrake mechanism comes through one side. Okay, anyway, it shows that there's a possibility there, doesn't it? It shows that there's a possibility there. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. I might have kind of just got lucky here, because I've just come out to where I've got this big vise in the side shed, and I've squeezed it in the vise, and it has actually closed up. So I could just weld it back together like that, and it would, you know, it'll fit in the factory bolt holes. I might not weld it together. Yeah, okay. I'm in the design iteration process, aren't I? So what I'm having to think about is, if I weld it back together, will I be able to fit the gearbox? Yeah, I think I've got a good kind of possibility there, and to be honest, if that works, there isn't a simpler thing than that. Just clamping it straight around that area there, which is of a similar diameter to the early Ford. So yeah, I think I've been a bit lucky there. Okay, righto. I'll bring it back when there's more to show. There's a general view, a general view of a kind of a mock-up of the Overdrive conversion. So if you imagine this is behind the K-member, this is in front of the K-member, so that will all bolt in place on, you know, in the chassis, and then a shortened torque tube will bolt to that there. And what I want to do is just strengthen this in some way to there, or these various bolts that I've got available here. But yeah, I think it's taking shape, and that rear mount could be the simplest way to do it. Cool. You don't know till you try, do you? You've got to have something to tinker around with. Okay, righto. I'm going to leave it at that for now, and I'll, you know, continue to think about what I want to do for the next step. But I think things are progressing quite well. Yeah, I think what I'll do, I'll make a couple of angle brackets with a bolt hole, so that is removable, because I can see that maybe I might have a problem putting these bolts in with that in the way. You just don't know, do you? It's a one-off, it's a prototype, but fingers crossed there's something here that will work. Okay, righto. I'll bring you back when I know what I'm doing. Cheers then, bye. Hello. I've made a start on the sort of strengthening that is required for this, and the idea is to tie it into these two bolt holes that I've drilled and tapped there, and these two studs that run the way into the main casing there. I think I'm going to use some of this. This is 1/2 inch square steel. So what I'm going to do is just basically let's say cut a piece that long, bring it from kind of up here to there, angle all the ends and weld it in, and then bring a piece from here up to here, angle all the ends and weld it in. It'll be supported at the sides, supported at the bottom, and supported at the top. That's what I always say this, that's what I think I'm going to do. I've been working on this torque tube adapter for the Overdrive, and I believe I've finished it. So what I did was I made a couple of bosses that bolt onto there where I drilled and tapped those holes. I've got a couple of bits of square steel rod there, angled and beveled and welded in there and there, and then just welded onto the side of there. Here I've got a piece of angle iron drilled and bolted to there, clearance for the shape, and then I've got a piece of rectangular tubing which I've cut a section out of to make a channel which goes between there and there. I kind of thought about how this works, and I decided that the loads on this weren't really a bending moment as such, heavy bending moment, because there's a joint here, so it shouldn't be a heavy bending moment. But there is like a loading like that, but that's taken by that there. But there is a push and a pull from when you're accelerating and decelerating. The thrust of the axle goes through here. That's why I've kind of channeled it forward into there and there. So these places here will take that fore and aft load, and this can take the up and down load. Well, it's all shared between them, so between them they're sharing all the loads. This area here was a little bit difficult to kind of work around, hence why I ended up with this shape that I've got. Quite happy with that, to be honest. Quite pleased with that. And I drilled these at such a distance away from the wall so that you can get a socket on there, and these also you can get a socket on there. I sort of tried to take into account the fact that I wanted to get a socket on there, so yeah, quite pleased with that. This is all from what I did the other day, this sort of thinning out of this piece. So bit by bit, the project is moving forward. So that's the finished rear mount with the extra braces to help support the loads, and I think it came out okay. Quite a lot of work in it, to be honest. It doesn't look like anything now, but there's quite a lot of work in that. So there we go, job done. Obviously you can see my messy garage and everything in the background, but when I'm working I tend to leave a mess. I'll probably have to weld that up, otherwise the grease will all come out. Weld those up there. But I could leave it open and use it for pumping grease in. I could pump grease in through there. Got to weld one of them up there. Anyway, there we are. Quite happy with that. Another little box ticked. Yeah, fits quite well that. Quite pleased with that. Okay, righto. All good then. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. I just did a little job, and it's one of the sort of finishing off jobs. Excuse the mess. And that's to sort of make a couple of little things there so I can clamp this thing back together again. I've pushed them out to the side there so that the handbrake rod can come through there, the emergency brake rod. Looks like I need to just bend it a little bit because it's pulled out of shape, but you get the idea anyway. Right, okay, another little job. There's the rear mount in place. It's pretty solid once it's clamped on. This part hopefully will slide inside the K-member. It might work, it might not work, I just don't know. But it's probably a relatively easy way to do it, hopefully, fingers crossed. So I think now it's a case of cleaning everything up, making some gaskets or buying a gasket set, cleaning all the threads, look for missing parts. I can nick parts off that other one down there if need be, and get it assembled up. Not completely assembled up, but just the overdrive as a unit and the gearbox as a unit. Not this one, this is a dummy, but the gearbox, which is in the shed, and this as two separate units, including putting the output shaft in, building up a UJ, finding the best parts, building up a UJ, putting these gears in, all that good stuff. Okay, right, It's all coming together well. Who knows if it will work? It might work, it might not. I just don't know. Righto, okay. I will catch you on the next one. Bye. This is the centre part of the overdrive unit that I'm going to use on my sedan. It had some damaged studs, so I've been making new studs, and I came to remove that one there, look, and it broke off. Yeah, that's stripped at the end. No good at all. Completely stripped. Okay. So what I think I might do is I think I might go in with 5/16 UNC, and then I will use a UNC stud in there. Because and then I'll just drill the holes out to suit. That's a 5/16 UNC, so that's a stud, much more commonly available. This all needs washing out now. I don't know whether to kind of go with a bigger thread size on more of these. In the interests of kind of symmetry, and also that I kind of feel almost like it's a little bit of an upgrade, I'm not going to replace all 8, but I'm going to replace this one and these 2 also with 5/16. So I've got 5/16 top and bottom, and then 1/4 inch there and a 1/4 inch there. These are some steel plates that came with this overdrive box, but they weren't fitted, so I thought I would use them, and they look like it strengthens it up in some way. So on the strength of the fact that it's got these, and I've had to go to 5/16 on this one, like I say, I'm going to put 3 more in. So that's what I've come out to do today. On this side, this circle is a constant circle, but here it's kind of flattened off a bit, so it's a little bit thinner. That section there. So I think I'm going to leave those ones intact. But what I think I'll do, I think I'll put one in there and one in there. I'll just do exactly the same thing on those 2 there. So there's like up and down and side to side reinforcement over and above the 1/4 inch. There we are, there's the finished job. These 4 can remain at 1/4 inch, and I think that'll be nice and strong. It's looking okay to my satisfaction anyway. Thanks very much for joining me in the garage then. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hello. There's the job I did earlier with the new studs. What I've just done, I've dismantled the overdrive a step further than I had before, and I was able to release this piece from this piece, so I could change that gasket there. So I fitted a new gasket there, I put a new gasket there, and I've just bolted the tail shaft housing up. But that's together now in one piece. I've got to finish the piece that goes on here, and this has to come off so it can be built up and then fitted after the piece that goes here. is fitted. Anyway, yeah, it's looking good. I haven't stripped it and rebuilt it. I don't know how to be honest. The first one I've ever laid my hands on, so I thought, well, I won't take it apart other than what I need to do that is the minimum necessary. But I do have an appreciation now of how it works, so that's good. That is very close to being the finished overdrive unit, you know, with subtle modifications here and there. Okay, righto, all good progress being made. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hello. Once again, excuse my messy workbench. Look, I've just took this joint apart. I've cleaned this one up a little bit, only a bit. It looks to be in usable condition. I don't have any better ones, and they're quite difficult to get apart. The clips are difficult to remove, and I do them by filing a nick in them and hitting them with a chisel up so it kind of lifts it, and then wedge a screwdriver in. Then I kind of raise it a bit and get it with some vice grips and pull them out. So I've got these clips, and I've got the clips from the other one that I took apart, the one that was making the vibration. So I'll pick the two best clips. I'm going to put this onto there like that. All I gotta do is just press the bush in there, and put the circlips in. It's not a big deal. Okay, so there's my new joint assembled up. I actually found it easier just to tap the bushes in using a hammer. Oh, hang on, have I done that wrong? Oh, okay, hang on. Yeah, there appears to be yeah, okay, I didn't look at them closely enough. There appears to be a chamfered end and a straight end, so I think that one is the wrong way around, so I'll have to get that one out again. That's alright. It's got that lovely loose rattly sort of action that you want. You don't want it binding up. Okay, I actually left the bolt and the washer inside. The bolt can come through, but the washer has to be in there. Here's the thing, just got a little splash of paint on it. Okay, so there's the adapter on the end, bolted down. It isn't torqued up or anything. There's a little grease fitting. If need be, I can put an angled one in. There's where you can imagine the bolts going through. Don't need to be very long. So let's have a look at the joint. Yep, so that looks okay. This will all get loaded with grease. So there you go. That's the culmination of quite a bit of interesting work here on this overdrive. So take care, and I'll catch you on the next one. All we need to do now is cross our fingers that it all works. Right, I've just seen my daughter's dog. Here he is. Here's Captain. He'll bark at me now. No, he won't. There's Maggie getting jealous. Hello, mate. Don't get dirty, for heaven's sake. Don't go under a car. Yes. He's a sweet little fella. Okay, back in a bit. Hello. I'm just continuing to work on the Overdrive, and you can see that there and there is a 1/4 inch UNF nut, and these actually are studs that I've just made. I ordered these bolts thinking they were going to be threaded all the way up. They weren't threaded all the way up. Excuse the mess. So what I've done is I've managed to run a die up some of them and then cut it off and just file the end. So this one here is one of those with the thread extended, as is this one here, as is that one there. So that's got a new thread on this end. So I'm going to put that in there. So what I'll do, I'll double nut this, double nut it, wind it in, do the other one which is just under there, and then when they're done I can fit the strengthening piece, and then I can fit the cleave lock nuts to there, and then this whole assembly of this part to this part, I can call it done. Okay, no need to show you me putting nuts and things together. I'll just bring you back to show you the finished job. So there we are, there's the nuts, the new studs made from the Allen bolts, the new studs that I fitted, shortened and fitted, cleave lock nuts, old machine made UNF nuts with a tap run through them, the strengthening pieces just as received sort of thing. So there we are, there's the Overdrive unit complete, the torque tube adaptation, the Ford UJ shaft to the shaft adaptation. So yeah, hopefully that will run well. If it runs okay, that's great. If it doesn't run okay, it'll have to be torn down and you know, reconditioned. But I don't have any experience with them. I've never actually laid my hands on one before this one, so I don't actually know, you know, what's involved. I've put new gaskets on it and that's that. Okay, righto, let's call it good on that then, and the next time you'll see this is when it's fitted to the car, because I can't fit it to the gearbox before it goes in the car, because it has to be fitted kind of, you've got to put this in first and then get the engine and gearbox in and hook them together once they're in the car, which may be very awkward. Okay, righto, so that's good. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.